So, in this video we gonna talk about some of the juicy details about upcoming Genshin Impact banners. I'll share information about the character banners featured in patches 5.1 to 5.3. Plus, we'll delve into some fun speculations regarding reruns during these patches. Everything I'm about to share is based on various speculations and is not guaranteed, so remember to take it all with a pinch of salt. With that in mind, let's not waste any more time and dive right in. Starting with some basic info, patch 5.1 is set to launch on October 9th for the Asia servers and October 8th for the Americas. We know that this patch will introduce xilonen as the only new unit. Let me tell you, xilonen looks absolutely incredible. If you're on the hunt for some powerful characters, she's definitely the one to pull for. Curious about what makes xilonen so powerful? Well, she can reduce the elemental resistance of enemies by an astonishing 36% with just her skill. Not only that, but she also offers single target healing through her burst. And yes, you heard that right, this resistant shred works for 3 different elements at once. She's truly a game changer, and in situations where crowd control isn't needed, she might even surpass Keiho. If you love her design and want a top-tier support unit, definitely pull for her. Now, let's take a look at the reruns in this patch. We know we'll see an Archon rerun in 5.1. For those who might not know, Genshin often reruns all the Archons whenever a new region is released. This cycle kicked off with Sumeru, and with Raiden getting her rerun in 5.0, it's clear that it will continue into Natlan. So, who's the Archon for 5.1? It's Nahida. There were initial thoughts that Zhongli would have his rerun this time, but with recent info hinting at the Sabzar Festival being the main event for 5.1, it's now confirmed that Nahida will be back for her 3rd rerun. If you don't have this adorable little radish in your collection, I highly recommend pulling for her, she's just that amazing. Now, let's discuss other rerunning units for this patch. According to a reliable source, Chiori and Hu Tao will also return. I know it's a bummer for my fellow Lei and Shinha fans, but it is what it is. It seems they're saving Shin for the Natlan, right? Chiori, though, is a solid unit who synergizes wonderfully with characters like Io and Navia. You might think of her as a better version of Albo in many teams. Hu Tao's rerun in 5.1 is a bit unexpected, and it also suggests she won't appear in the Liyue-themed Chronicled Wish banner in patch 5.3. She's a fantastic pyro DPS and, let's be honest, pretty cute too, adding to her pull value. That's all for the character banners in patch 5.1. As for the rerun order, I believe xilonen and Hu Tao will be featured in the first half of the patch, while Nahida and Chiori will grace us in the second half. Moving on to patch 5.2, sources suggest we'll see 2 new units, Chasca and Rerun. We don't have much information yet, but here's what I do know. Chasca is expected to be an Anemo character wielding a sword, likely serving as a main DPS. Her kit revolves around swirling elements and gaining significant buffs, including elemental infusion. Oh, and some sources mention that chasca might even have the ability to fly. If that's true, she could become an exploration powerhouse. As for Rerun, he'll be an electro character with a bow. Unfortunately, that's about all we know for now. I really hope he turns out to be an off-field electro unit instead of another on-field DPS, we already have quite a few of those. Now, let's talk about the reruns for patch 5.2. Most of you probably already know we're getting another Archon rerun, likely featuring either Zhongli or Farina. Personally, I think Zhongli has a good chance this time around. If he doesn't get a rerun in this patch, he may have to wait until version 4.4, which feels like ages away. Speaking of Zhongli, he's currently one of the best shielders in the game, making gameplay so much more comfortable for all. Regarding other reruns, Rerun may finally have her first rerun since her initial release in patch 4.6. Additionally, a trusted source recently shared that the Wanderer will also return in version 5.2. Rerun rerun makes sense, but why the Wanderer is getting another chance so soon? He had a rerun just a few patches ago. Rerun is a powerful pyro DPS, and many of us have been eagerly awaiting her return. If you're looking for a top-tier DPS, she's definitely worth pulling for. Now let's not forget about the Wanderer. He's a great Anemo DPS and one of the best characters for exploration. I sometimes think about pulling for him purely for those exploration perks. If the speculation about chasca flying turns out to be true, just imagine the exploration team with Wanderer, chasca, and xilonen. Alright, now let's look ahead to patch 5.3. We'll be getting 2 new units, the Pyro Archon Mavuika and xilolen. There's buzz that xilolen might be a 5-star unit, but since the source isn't super reliable, we'll just have to wait and see. Honestly, I hope she is a 5-star because her design is just so lovely. I might even skip the entirety of 4.2 just to pull for her, it'd be worth it. Now, let's dive into their kits. A source recently revealed that Mavuika's kit resembles a significantly upgraded version of Dea's. When you tap her skill, she unleashes summons that deal damage to enemies. However, if you hold her skill, she won't summon anyone but instead gains a pyro infusion, similar to Rerun. I apologize for the lack of clarity on those parts, but that's the latest info we have. And here's the exciting part, Mavuika has an incredible exploration ability, she can ride a motorcycle. Yes, you heard me right. This bike can scale mountains, traverse water, and ride on land. Just picture her zooming into battle on her bike, it sounds hilarious, right? I can't wait to see it, but we might have to be patient. Now, as for xilolen, we don't have much info other than that she's a cryo character wielding a catalyst. She's expected to be an upgraded version of Lee's kit. That's about all we have for now. Finally, let's chat about the Chronicled Wish banner. Rumor has it that patch 5.3 will feature the long-awaited Forgotten banner, likely themed around Liu. The characters expected to appear include Chi-Chi and Keqing as the standard characters, alongside Ganyu, Xiao, Baiju, and Child as limited characters. As for those I didn't mention, it seems zhongli won't be included, and Xianon and Xin don't meet the banner requirements. Lastly, both Hu Tao and Yelan recently had their reruns, so they won't be featured either. And there you have it. That's all the character banners expected from version 5.1 to 5.3. If you've made it this far, I genuinely appreciate you sticking around. I'm really curious to know who you all are planning to pull for in the upcoming patches. Personally, I'm excited to grab xilonen in patch 5.1, and after that, I'll probably save everything for xilolen.